I wasn't looking for this. It found me. It started with a number. A small project on GitHub, completely unknown the day before, had 10,000 stars by the next morning. I looked at it, and a strange chill ran down my spine. Something was wrong. Something didn't belong to the world I thought I lived in. You see, for years, GitHub stars have been a kind of currency. Not the currency of banks, the currency of trust. A star is how the engineering community tells each other this project is worth paying attention to, but that night, I realized a chilling truth. Someone is printing fake money right in front of our eyes. An underground economy has been operating in the shadows for years, and the numbers we trusted have been distorted on an industrial scale. This is the story of 6 million fake stars, 6 cents per click, and how the venture capital industry accidentally turned them into a gold mine. The first truth that hit me was simple, but cruel. What we are looking at isn't a few isolated scammers. This is artificial inflation at industrial scale of GitHub repository metrics. Not just stars, but forks and watchers too. All the numbers engineers used to gauge a project's health. The inflation is carried out by 3 forces working in parallel. 1. Automated bot networks operating 24 hours a day, never sleeping. 2. Click farms, where real humans sit and click on shifts like factory workers. 3. Coordinated groups where developers star each other's projects, trading back and forth like a kind of cryptocurrency exchange. When I understood this, I could no longer look at GitHub the same way. Then I started seeing the scale. And the scale is what kept me awake at night. 6 million fake stars, active right now, on the platform. Over 18,617 repositories compromised. Not 10, not 100, 18,000. The force behind those numbers is more than 300,000 fake or hijacked accounts. They are divided into 2 tiers. Tier 1 is ghost accounts, bots created carelessly, no followers, no public reposts, empty bios. They exist only to click stars. Tier 2 is premium accounts. This is the scary part. These are profiles that have existed for years, with beautiful green commit graphs, mathematically simulated to look like a real developer. They are carefully designed to bypass every spam filter. To understand how big this thing has gotten, I had to go back in time. From 2019 to 2022, fake stars existed. But they were just a minor nuisance, a hidden corner few people knew about. At that time, the buyers were usually amateur developers. They wanted to bulk up their personal portfolios to get past the HR screening round. A small project with 500 stars looked much better on a resume. The impact on the community was very low. Investors weren't paying attention. Journalists weren't writing about it. The engineering community wasn't being harmed. Fake stars existed, but they were like small cracks on a wall that was still solid. Nobody knew that those cracks were waiting for a storm. The storm was called artificial intelligence. In 2023, generative AI exploded. Within months, the flow of venture capital shifted dramatically toward open-source AI infrastructure. Billions of dollars poured in, and investors needed a quick way to measure which projects were worth it. The problem is, open-source projects are usually pre-revenue. No ARR, no paying customers, no contracts. So what do investors measure? They measured GitHub stars. That was the moment that changed everything. Suddenly, a simple number, a single bookmark click, became a proxy for millions of dollars of investment. And where there is demand, there is supply. Demand for stars skyrocketed, and a sleeping market woke up. By 2024, what was once a small underground market had become an industry. By mid-year, the data showed a number I had to read 3 times to be sure. Almost 16.66% of all repositories with 50 stars or more showed clear signs of manipulation. 16.66%, 1 in 6. That's not a few bad actors. That's 1/6 of the open source world we live in. The vendors had professionalized. Star-selling websites had interfaces like Shopee, shopping carts, card payments, promotional discounts, customer service. A truth I didn't want to accept, but had to. Deceiving the engineering community had become a standard service, orderable like a pizza. And now, today, this is the new normal. In fiercely competitive fields, AI, developer tools, Web3 blockchain, startups buy stars as a standard line in their marketing budget. Not a secret, not a shame. Just a row in the budget spreadsheet, right next to Facebook ads and office rent. When I met a young founder in Saigon, he told me straight up, Without 3,000 stars on GitHub, no VC will reply to your email. And 3,000 real stars take 2 years. 3,000 bought stars take $200. He didn't say it with guilt. He said it as an industry truth, like saying when it rains, you should bring an umbrella. That was the moment I realized. Fake stars aren't a bug in the system. They have become part of the system. To track this economy, I had to find where it lives. The first place that appeared in front of me, oddly, was right in the daylight. There are dozens of public websites, names anyone can find with a single search: SocialPlug, Buy.fans, and many others. They operate like ordinary e-commerce stores. You go to the site, you pick a service, GitHub marketing. You add 1,000 stars to your cart. You pay with a credit card or with cryptocurrency if you want to stay private. Prices range from 3 cents to 85 cents per star, depending on quality. I stared at those pages for hours. Nothing was hidden. They have customer reviews, refund policies, referral programs. The strangest feeling is when you realize that deception sometimes doesn't need to hide. It can stand in the public square, wearing a uniform, and smile at you. The second layer lives inside mainstream gig economy platforms. On Fiverr and Upwork, two of the largest freelance platforms in the world, there are thousands of providers offering services with professional-sounding names. Open source SEO, GitHub growth service, trending marketing for your project. At a glance, those look like ordinary freelancers posting polished introductions. But if you read the 5-star reviews carefully, you see a repeating pattern. Customers thanking them for getting their project onto the trending page. Sellers promising delivery in 48 hours. These aren't ordinary marketers. This is the same bot network, repackaged with a friendlier face. I realized something important then. When a fraudulent service can hide inside a trusted platform, the line between real and fake is no longer clear. The trust of the platform itself has been borrowed to legitimize the fraud. The third layer, and the most sophisticated one, isn't on the web. It lives inside messaging apps. On Telegram and Discord, there are massive groups with simple names: Star Exchange, GitHub Star Trade. In these groups, no one buys bots. Every member is a real developer, with a real account, with real activity. The rule is simple. You star my repo, I'll star yours. A trade, back and forth, by the oldest principle of human interaction. What makes this dangerous is that every account looks legitimate. Every click comes from a real human. GitHub's algorithmic filters have no way to tell the difference between a sincere star and a star given in a reciprocal trade. That's when I realized the strongest weapon against an algorithmic system isn't a more sophisticated bot. It's a real human, willing to trade their attention for someone else's. Every investigation eventually arrives at the same question. Why? Why does anyone do this? And the answer isn't vanity. The answer is money. In traditional business models, investors measure success by annual recurring revenue, a dry, hard-to-fake number coming from real customers. But open-source projects often have no revenue yet. They are in the phase of attracting developer attention. So what do investors measure? They measure stars. Most venture capitalists don't have the technical expertise to evaluate code quality. They can't read an algorithm and tell whether it's elegant, so they rely on the most visible signal, GitHub stars. When a top-tier fund expects a seed-stage startup to have 2,500 stars, the founder can spend $200 at a click farm to manufacture that number and unlock millions of dollars in investment. The return on investment is irresistible, at least mathematically. The second reason involves a small page many people overlook: the GitHub Trending page. That's where tech journalists, developers, and investors all look for new opportunities. A project that shows up there can get hundreds of thousands of views in a single day. The algorithm decides who reaches the trending page based on the rate of star growth. If a repo gets 500 stars in 6 hours, it's considered hot. Startups have learned this. They buy a concentrated burst of stars at exactly the right moment to push the project onto the trending page. Once it's there, the magic happens. Real users start paying attention. They click through, read, and sometimes give real stars. Manufactured momentum converts into real visibility and then into real interest. It's like hiring people to line up outside a restaurant. Everyone walking by thinks the restaurant must be good because there's a long line, and they go in too. Fake stars buy real stars. That is the dark miracle of the algorithm. But there is a third reason, deeper than money and algorithms. A reason rooted in culture. In fiercely competitive fields, perception is reality. A project with 50 stars is considered a failure, even if its code is beautiful. A project with 5,000 stars is considered industry standard, even if its code is mediocre. Founders know this, and they face an ethical choice. They can choose the slow road, build a real project, write quality code, write great blog posts, speak at conferences. 2 years later, maybe they'll have 2,000 stars. Or maybe they won't. Or they can choose the fast road. Pay $200, get 2,000 stars within a week. Suddenly, journalists call, investors line up, other developers actually start contributing. When the entire industry treats faking as normal, the person who doesn't fake is the one who loses. It is a quiet tragedy, a choice many have made not because they wanted to deceive, but because they believed it was the only way to be seen. Now, I needed to know. How do they do this? What is the mechanism? The answer lives in a combination of 3 technologies. First, headless browsers. Puppeteer is the most popular one. This is automation software that can drive a browser like Chrome, with no human in front of the screen. A single computer can run thousands of Puppeteer sessions at once, each one a different bot. Second, rotating residential proxies. This is a pool of real internet users' IP addresses, rented out. Each bot uses a different IP address, from a different city, in a different country. When this bot finishes starring, it switches IPs and the next bot takes over. Third, and this is the smart part, to make accounts look like real developers, providers use open source tools like fake-git-history. The tool creates years of continuous commit activity, a perfect green graph on the GitHub profile. It looks like a developer who has coded daily for 3 years, but it is all fiction. This is the deepest irony of the story. Open source, the tool of transparency, is being used to manufacture deception. After understanding the mechanism of fraud, I figured out how to protect myself. Because the star count has become a vanity metric, engineers have to look further. We have to focus on intent ratios. A star is the lowest effort action, just a bookmark. A fork or a watcher shows real intent to use, modify, or follow the code. There are 3 indicators that separate the real from the fake. The first golden indicator is the fork-to-star ratio. Real projects in heavy use, like React, Flask, or LangChain, have about 100 to 200 forks per 1,000 stars. A healthy ratio is 0.1 or higher. If a project has 10,000 stars but only 200 forks, be careful. Bots hate forking because mass forking pollutes their profile with junk repositories. The second indicator is the followers-to-stars ratio. Natural projects usually have ratios from 0.005 to 0.03. If this ratio is below 0.001, it is almost certainly fake. The third indicator, perhaps the most important, is the quality of the issues tab. Real repositories are full of high-quality bug reports, debates, and pull requests. Manipulated repositories have empty issues tabs or are full of generic AI-generated praise. You can fake a number, but you can't fake a complex bug fix. When I closed my laptop on the final night of the investigation, I didn't feel angry. I felt sad. This investigation revealed a flaw in how the tech industry measures success. As long as venture capitalists and the community keep rewarding vanity metrics, the underground economy that supplies those metrics will keep growing. For engineers, the conclusion is clear. Absolute numbers are no longer trustworthy. We have to shift our evaluation framework away from surface metrics toward indicators based on real effort and real intent. Number of forks, number of watchers, quality of issues, number of active contributors. By applying these strict criteria, we can filter out the click farms and identify the projects that are truly moving the industry forward. But maybe the deeper lesson is this. In a world where every number can be bought, the only truth left is real effort. And real effort, fortunately, is still something no one can fake. You can fake a star count, but you can't fake a complex bug fix. See you in the next story.